Bill O'Reilly is with us today instead of on Friday, which he normally is. But I'm glad he's here because I want to talk to him a lot about the deal, making a deal with Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer, and the spin that is going to come out of the White House now, and the spin that is already coming out from Nancy and Chuck. And where are we going from here? Welcome to the program, Bill O'Reilly from BillO'Reilly.com.
You are so lucky to have me on this program today.
I woke up this morning and I thought to myself, if I could only get more lucky, and then you were here.
Because I am going to be able to define this so even you understand it.
Right, okay, go ahead. Talk down to me.
You are very lucky. But first, I just wanted to give a plug because I'm having lunch with Ricky Buffin Yachts.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Who once traveled to Bolivia, and he wants healing.
But he's not. But hang on just a second. But he's not he didn't go there for any reason. He just went one time.
He wanted to be healed, so he went.
Okay, all right, good.
I'm going to figure out if he was healed or not.
All right, good, okay.
So that's Ricky Buffin Yachts.
All right.
Lunch with a rival.
All right,
Beck. All right, so now I have to now walk you through what's happening on DACA.
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
First of all, Nancy Pelosi and Charles Schumer want to destroy Donald Trump.
Yes.
Fact number one.
Yes. Should I write this down? Will there be a test?
Yes. Well,
I'll
have somebody else write it down for you because I know your handwriting.
All right. Destroy. Got it.
Fact number one. Pelosi, Schumer want to destroy Trump.
Got it.
Fact number two. They know the fastest way to do that is to get Trump's base angry with him.
Right.
Okay?
All right.
The quickest way to do that is to turn
his base
supporters against him.
Got it.
Okay.
All right.
So therefore, anything that Schumer and Pelosi say,
yes,
throw right out the window.
Right.
Okay. That's number one.
No, that's number
two.
This would be number three. Number one was they're going to try to destroy.
No, okay, but I'm in categories now.
Oh, so we're in categories. So that's category A at 1 and 2, and now we're in category B.
Right.
Go ahead. All right.
It's easier with the graphics next to you.
Yes, go ahead.
No one, including the president, knows how this DACA thing is going to turn out, because the Republicans have to write a bill. Very difficult for these pinheads to do because that requires them getting out of the gym. All right? They have to actually go to their desk and write a bill.
Right.
They don't like that.
Right.
So they have to write a bill that says, all right, here's the new law that's going to cover 800,000 so-called dreamers, illegal aliens who were taken here by their parents, and they had no say about it. They came, and what are we going to do with them? Republicans write the bill. In that bill, could be anything. We don't know. All right? So Trump doesn't have any input as far as what's going to happen to the dreamers. It's all Congress. All right? And then the bill comes out, and Trump says, I like it or I don't like it. Are you with me?
I just want to make sure. You didn't give me a topic, but under A is, number one, they're trying to destroy the president. 2, fastest way to do it is anger his base. B, no one knows what's going to be in this bill because it hasn't been written. Under that,
right.
Point 1, Republicans don't like to work. Point 2, Republicans could write anything. They could write a bill that replaces Nancy Pelosi with a chicken.
Right.
I've got it so far.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So good. Beck, you're really
I know I
am.
I'm taking notes.
The Pelosi Chicken Act, I'm behind that, by the way.
Yes, I
so
do.
all of us, loyal Americans who want the best for our country, should stop now with the speculation, which gets us nowhere, and wait until this bill comes out. Now, it is worthy that you and other commentators tell President Trump what you would like to see in the bill. Okay, this is what
I think we did during the election.
Okay, well, no, because the Dreamer thing is a little bit more complicated.
No, it's not. Here's what I believe the American people were actually saying, beyond all the hyperbole and everything else. This is what the American people were saying during the election. Look, that is a really complex issue. I don't know what to do. I don't want to hurt people. I'm not a racist, but I want border security. So I'm not. Hang on. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. No.
You're going over ground that is inevitable. So it's inevitable.
No, it's not.
That the Republicans will put some kind of stringent border security, maybe even a St. City thing, in the bill. They have to, and they will. That will be there, Beck. Do not worry about that. But there are other things that are going to happen. Number one, Trump does not want to deport these dreamers. Mm-hmm. That's obvious. He doesn't want it because he has to expand his base a little bit, and the polls overwhelmingly show that Americans are open to a fair deal for these people, these kids who were brought here. So he's not going to deport 800,000. That's not
so
going to
when
happen.
he said in interview after interview after interview, yes, they're all going home.
Well, I don't. When he says that, he doesn't think about the dreamers. See,
no. It was no. It was specifically about the dreamers. We checked the audio. It was specifically.
You have the audio that Trump said dreamers.
You
are
have
going
the
home?
yes.
Whoa, it's an NBC article. We'll get up here.
I'll get it for you in a second. But go ahead.
All right. No, you don't have to get it from me. I believe you.
Okay. All right.
I believe you. Okay. All right. So that's not going to happen now. It's not. All right. He's not going to deport 800,000, and I'll tell you why. Because I told this to him to his face in an interview. The courts would block that until the year 2099.
Yes, you're right.
Okay?
Yes.
Thank you, Beck.
Yes.
So everybody knows it's not going to happen. So let's stop the BS and get a fair bill that would strengthen border security and anarchy and eliminate anarchy in the United States about illegal immigration.
So I have to go back here. So has the last 2 years of us saying little Marco is making a deal with Chuck Schumer and the Gang of Eight, and there's no amnesty. Mark my words, there's no amnesty. It will not happen. All of that, hang on. I know you're just clearing the throat, but that means you're about to talk. Hang on. So the last 2 years of finger pointing and actually being the catalyst to have half of the country point to the other half and say, what a bunch of racists you are. You're completely unreasonable. You are lumping everybody in the same boat. All of that division, all of that hatred, all of that was for what purpose? For what purpose?
I don't know, Beck. That's way too complicated for a man like me.
No, it's not. You're smart enough. You don't want to answer it.
It's way over my head.
You just don't want to answer it.
I just want to tell you what's going to happen.
Right.
All right. I can't talk to the president of Rwanda.
Yeah.
I can't. I don't have the ability or the intellectual.
Yes, you can. You do not want to.
A man who ran Rwanda.
Right.
I can't. That's your job. All right. Here's what's going to happen. All right.
Mm-hmm.
There will be some compromise. Trump has already strengthened the border to a degree that we haven't had ever.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah.
All right.
All of the Republicans, with an exception of maybe Kasich, all of the Republicans, the 17 that he destroyed because they would make a deal with Nancy Pelosi, they were for amnesty, they were for the Gang of Eight, they weren't going to, you can't believe them that they're going to build a wall, that they're going to do that. All of them would have done, with the exception of John Kasich, exactly what he has done so far without the division and the hatred and the pitting against each other.
Beck. But the fact, and I love that word fact,
yes,
is that in the 6 months he's been sitting there in the Oval Office, immigration on the southern border, all right, has been enforced more than ever in our lifetime. That's a fact. And it's not going to get any more lax. It'll get more stringent. Here's another fact.
Until he's gone and replaced by a Republican or a Democrat.
And then when the president of Rwanda comes over and runs this country,
don't try to weasel out of this. That was the point of why we wanted a wall, because nothing is ever permanent. Nothing is ever permanent.
Do you have time? Do you have to take a break? Do you want to know about the wall now?
No, I'm going to take a break. And Bill O'Reilly from BillO'Reilly.com is where you can find him. And if you want this kind of fact-driven nonsense, you can find it at BillO'Reilly.com. Back in just a second.
I want to talk the statues, too.
Oh, yeah. Believe me, I've got a list of things to talk to you about.
BillO'Reilly.com is where you're going to go for the podcast, and I hopefully he'll be referencing the Paul Kagame statue.
Shut up.
Be talking about.
Shut up. So what's the wall is what I ask about to Bill O'Reilly. What's the wall all about?
Number one fact. Okay, we're back to the facts. I know that upsets you. Okay. There's not going to be any wall in the bill about the Dreamers, because that would mobilize opposition from 100% of the Democrats and some Republicans as well. So they're not going to have that in there in the bill. Now, some people will be angry about that, but step back. Trump's going to build his wall. He doesn't need legislation to build it. He can do it by executive order. He can do it by using Homeland Security funds, of which there are gazillions of dollars available. He can do it, and he will do it. But it's not going to be a wall from Brownsville to San Diego. It's not going to be that. It's going to be in certain places where it's easier to smuggle narcotics. The wall is basically a detriment against narcotics, not people, all right? So they will build some of it. It will come from orders from Donald Trump, but it's not going to be enshrined anywhere because it's too polarizing. So that's what's going to happen.
That stands against, Bill O'Reilly, absolutely everything I stand for as a constitutionalist.
I know it does.
What you've just described is, as a constitutionalist, you have said through executive order, he will do things that are temporary. I am against it as a constitutionalist, and I am against it as somebody.
I mean, maybe they could knock it down if you elect Bernie Sanders, but you have to live in the real world. And the real world is two things here. Trump knows he has to build the wall, some semblance of it. He has to, all right? And he will. But he's not going to get permission from Congress to do it because there are not enough votes there. It's as simple as that. So you've got to live in the real world, Beck, if you want to get anything done at all. I understand the constitutionalists. I understand all that. But, you know, this is hand-to-hand combat. Donald Trump going to survive the presidency, is going to get reelected. All right, he's got to do certain things that you're just not going to like.
Okay, so when he says, can we play cut 5 of audio cut 5, please? This is President Trump talking about taxes. Cut 5, do you have it? Okay, sorry about that.
Yeah, I'm curious on this because he obviously said during the campaign that it was going to be a wall that went for the whole border, right? He did say that.
He said a lot of things, but he doesn't understand at that point what it takes to get that stuff done.
Okay, so hang on. Here he is on. You know what? I don't have enough. This is a 59-second cut. Let me just read this. Taxes paid by the wealthy will likely stay the same under the new tax plan, but if they have to go higher, they're going to go higher.
Mm-hmm.
What does he stand for, Bill? What can I trust?
He's trying to be a populist. He's trying to appeal to working class and middle class voters. He knows that's where his base is. So that's what he stands for.
Is that healthy for a country? Populism, is it good?
I would like to see populism combined with astute analysis. I think if you got a politician who had both, who was, really felt for the working people, but was astute in how to get things done, then you'd have something. But we don't seem to be able to produce politicians.
All right. When we come back, Bill O'Reilly is going to take on a couple of things. One, the statues.
Yes.
And we'll talk a little bit about that. Also, it was because it's getting crazy. Also, we're going to try to get to the latest from ESPN. And I know how much Bill O'Reilly loves Hillary Clinton and has probably spent all week just up late at night reading her book. Her latest poll numbers show most Americans want her to go away. Bill's opinion coming up.
Glenn Beck. This is the Glenn Beck Program.
I'm really tired of hearing people's opinion. There are very few people's opinion that matter to me. I mean, I barely can say my own opinion. Everybody has one. I got it. What I'm interested in, facts and perspective. And one of the best is Bill O'Reilly. And we welcome him to the program from BillO'Reilly.com. I'm going to be gone tomorrow. I'm having dinner with Winston Churchill tomorrow night, so I will not be here. But we're going to talk about peace and war and everything in between. And I'll give you a report on that on Monday. But Bill O'Reilly, give me the facts on what's happening with the statues.
All right. I think you and I are of one mind on this because very early on, after Robert E. Lee's statue was the subject of that incredible controversy in Charlottesville, we both said it's not going to end with Lee. They're coming after Washington and Jefferson and other founding fathers, right? You said that too, I believe.
Yes,
correct?
I did. Yep.
Okay. So we both said it. Not in collusion. There was no Russian collusion here.
Oh, I don't know.
Back in
Zionist
O'Reilly
masters.
back on his Blaze and O'Reilly on BillO'Reilly.com said it independently. All right, so now it's happened. So Black Lives Matter and other radical groups are demanding that Thomas Jefferson statue be taken down in Charlottesville. Jefferson founded the University of Virginia, which is there, and lived there. Okay, so this plays right into my wheelhouse because I have a book coming out Tuesday called Killing England, The Brutal Struggle for American Independence.
Shut up.
Right.
It's like I thought if there is a way I could get Bill O'Reilly to talk about his book.
This is a legitimate way.
Yeah.
This is a legitimate way because I write about Thomas Jefferson.
Shut
the man,
up. Shut
the
up.
man, what he did about in slavery, and he had slaves and how he behaved. You know, and his whole life.
Bill, can I ask you a question about Thomas Jefferson? First of all, how do we get the word out that Thomas Jefferson led the fight in Virginia to try to be able to release his slaves? It was
that's in the book, but you're missing.
Yeah, but I mean, some way that people will read it or find it.
Let me illuminate, okay?
Yeah. All right, okay.
In order to win this debate, Beck, traditional Americans have to have the facts. They have to know what Thomas Jefferson just did. You just said it. That the man was very conflicted about slavery. And we, in Killing England, you'll see exactly how conflicted he was and what he did. And the other actions that led to our independence.
Hang on just a second. I don't think he was. I mean, he's the guy who said, because I know God is just, I tremble for my country. That was about slavery. He
agonized about the line, all men are created equal.
Yes, he did do that.
He agonized about it because he said we're not including African Americans.
Yes.
So if you read the book, he's a conflicted man on the issue, okay? But the overarch of what he did, what George Washington did, because they're going to come after Washington, he was a slaveholder too, is amazing, and you got to know that in order to ward off the far-left kooks. Now, why are they doing the statues? Here's what it's all about, Beck. It's not about the statues of Lee or Jefferson or Washington or any of that. It's about undermining the entire Constitution of this country. The far left believes that we are a nation founded by white supremacists, okay? And that our Constitution reflects that. So we got to do away with that and have a new Constitution. That's what this is all about. That you run down the founding fathers, you run down the philosophy on which the country was founded, and you replace it with a socialist manifesto. Now, you're going to say, oh, O'Reilly, you're this conspiratorialist, this, that. No. This is exactly the conversations that are taking place within the precincts of Black Lives Matter, the Antifa movement, and some in the mainstream media who sympathize with that. Now you can segue into Jemele Hill, the girl on ESPN, the woman on ESPN, okay, who tweets that Trump is a white supremacist and he's surrounded by them. Okay, now, you got a question about Hill?
Yeah, well, I just want to. I didn't want to transition there, but I mean, all of a sudden, I lost control of the show. So
right,
I'd like to go back to the Star Spangled Banner and the fight on slavery. It is incumbent upon each of us, and Bill is true, and it kills me to promote his stupid frickin' book, but he is right, and his book does cover this. And we need to know who these people were. When it comes to the Star Spangled Banner, the fifth stanza is all about slavery. When our land is illuminated with liberty's smile, if a foe from within strike blow at her glory, down, down the traitor who dares to defile her flag of stars in the pages of her story, by the millions unchained who our birthright have gained, we will keep her bright blazon forever unstained. Yesterday they went after Francis Scott Key. This is revisionist history, and it has to stop.
Well, it's only going to stop if the people rise up.
No,
right now,
if the people
the folks are
educate
afraid to do this.
I think you're wrong on that. I think it will only happen when the people educate themselves.
Okay.
Then they will rise up.
You rise up with education and you're effective.
Yes.
You rise up with emotion and you don't know anything. You're not effective.
We are only slaves to. We are slaves to lies right now. We are slaves to others who are manipulating us because we have not done what every slave, as soon as they became free, the first thing they did was try to get an education, try to learn, try to read. We're not doing any of it, and we're chaining ourselves, and we are going to be slaves of some other master if we don't educate ourselves.
Well, that's very well said. And, again, I'm lucky in the sense that when I wrote Killing England, I didn't have any idea that within a year, the Antifa movement and the socialistic movement would be as intimidating as it is now. But I'm glad I wrote the book. It's almost a miracle. Because if you want to know who Jefferson, Washington, and Benjamin Franklin actually were as people, and you read the book, you'll know.
Jeez,
and
would
then
you
can
stop with
fight
the damn
off.
book? So
you can fight off the forces of darkness because they're coming.
All I wanted to do was talk about ESPN, and now he's just going on. So now, hang on. Here's the question on ESPN. The big thing on ESPN is everybody's saying they've got a double standard. No, they don't. This is the same standard. You will fire anyone who has a non-progressive big government view or a small government view, and you will cheer on and excuse anyone who has a progressive PC pro-big government view. They're completely consistent.
Well, they've destroyed the network.
Yes.
All right, so ESPN is a shadow of what it used to be, and it's not coming back. All right, so that's number one. And the reason is people watch that network for sports, not to have somebody like Jemele Hill accuse the president and his cabinet of being white supremacists. They don't watch for that. MSNBC should hire the woman because that's what they do.
So okay. Bill, have you ever heard anybody ever even question the president and his relationship with race? So in other words, have you ever heard anyone say things like, I think this president may be a racist. I think this president may have a deep, dark, unsettled feeling about white people. You ever heard anybody say that? Because I remember somebody did, and they questioned what the intent was, and it was heralded as the biggest mistake on planet Earth. How dare you ever question that? And now somebody at ESPN can say not question, but to make the statement he's a white supremacist, and
right.
Everybody's fine.
Well, not everybody's fine. There's a big controversy about it. I don't think the woman should be
not
fired.
On the left.
Although not on the left because they concur.
Yes.
But they fired Curt Schilling, and he
did the same thing.
Conservative,
right? He did the same thing.
It was a little bit more because Schilling had an illustration of a transgendered person that was pretty offensive, I would say.
I don't remember it exactly, so I'd have to go back and look.
They could have suspended him and they could have brought him back, but they don't. They being Disney. Disney runs, and a lot of people don't know this. Disney owns ESPN,
right?
But Disney doesn't have, as you pointed out, any respect for the conservative American thought process. But I wouldn't fire the woman. I don't think that's the right way to handle it. I think that you basically say to her, you don't really know what you're talking about, with all due respect, Ms. Hill. All right? This isn't what's going on here. And the fact that you believe it is, you're entitled to that, but you're in a position of responsibility, particularly with younger African Americans, and you're really abusing that because you can't back that statement up. You can't back it up. And what you're doing is you're denigrating the country, just like Colin Kaepernick did. And, if people object to that, their views are just as viable as your views. So you're going to have to take what comes, which is criticism and lower ratings, because that's where it's going.
And Bill, I think this is what you're saying, but I mean, in fact, they handle these situations many different ways. The Jemele Hill way is the way they actually should handle it.
Yes.
Right? I mean, like,
yes.
they should come in and say, it's your own private thing. We don't think that's the right way for you to be handling this, especially if people might think it's from ESPN. But, whatever. We'll give you a little slap on the wrist or at least a talking to or whatever, and you'll come back and do the show. The problem is how they handle all the other cases.
Schilling, but with Schilling, you had that cartoon.
But, you don't even have to go to Schilling. You really don't have to go to Schilling. Chink in the armor.
The guerrilla warfare.
Guerrilla warfare. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's two people that lost their jobs for phrases that have nothing to do with race. And they went crazy, and it's well,
there's no doubt there's a double standard, there's hypocrisy all over the place. But I think that traditional Americans who believe in fairness have to rise above the hypocrisy. And you know what? Here's what you do: you just don't watch. And that's going on now for years. They've been bailing out of ESPN for years. And other networks that are not honest or are doing something that the folks deem offensive, don't watch.
I will tell you this: if you really want to make an impact, you don't watch, of course. But if you really want to make an impact, you let Disney know, I'm not taking my kids to your park, because
that would do it.
Yeah, they only care about the mouse. That's all they care about.
They can't look. Every corporation, it's money first. There's no doubt about it. And on that note, we want everybody to pre-order Killing England. It comes out Tuesday.
That's a solid segue right there.
There you go.
Bill, do I have to endure this again on Tuesday when it comes out?
And next Friday.
I don't know if I can do 2 times a week.
All right. Well, we'll get you some oxygen, and we'll do what we have to do.
No, believe me, there's enough air in here, hot air, when you're around. I don't need any more. Bill, good to have you. Thank you. We'll talk to you again.
All right. Thanks for having me in.
You bet, buddy.